Hello and welcome to Small Thought, Big Impact with Sony Thomas. Let me invite you to a small thought that can create a big impact for you in celebrating your life. I was once asked by my relative to give some life advice to their daughter. I hesitate to talk to children on the behest of their parents because parents has an agenda they want to push on their children, which is something I don't appreciate and don't want to be part of. Secondly, giving advice is a waste of everyone's time. Nobody listens to it anyway. And lastly, my view of life doesn't sit very well with parents. But over the years, I have become more comfortable and graceful about it. I now understand how parents worry about the future of their children. As anticipated, my relative wanted me to speak to her about career and marriage. And after listening to her for a bit and understanding her plans better, I encouraged her to pursue it. And I said, don't get hung up on marrying at the right time to the right person. But if it is something you want in your life, be intentional about it. My relative gave me a soul piercing look. You can imagine how my relatives felt, and I don't blame them. I know there are valid opinions for and against marriage, but let me share with you some alarming research into human social interaction. The research material speaks about the rising group of young people who are choosing to be single. There was a time when being single after the age of 30 was looked down by the society. You might wonder, what's the big deal? It's my choice, it's a way of life, and who is it actually going to affect but me? However, anthropologists observe that once the birth rate hit an irreversible low mark, there is a high probability that the race of people would become extinct. Secondly, with low birth rate and high life expectancy, there is a demographic mismatch that puts undue pressure on governments and access to resources. In the study, one recurring reason for staying away from meaningful relationships, be it romantic or platonic, is that it costs money, it costs time, and it costs emotions. And young people say it's too much of a hassle, it's too inconvenient. It's easier to enjoy the virtual experiences or enjoy other self gratifying options that are less messy. It might sound science fiction, but some developed nations are facing similar crises and other nations are not too far behind. It is true that life will find a way to survive, but at what cost? How would human beings go through this transition is a mystery that baffles social anthropologists and governments. Should we course correct it or let it play out is a thought provoking question. What intrigued me was the fact that the right to life means the right to live a full and satisfying life. And having meaningful relationships, both romantic and platonic, is part of the human DNA. And to refrain from it because it's too expensive, too inconvenient, and too time consuming is a breach of my fundamental right as a human being. I wonder if it isn't a human right violation. With all the scientific breakthroughs and technology enabled comforts and convenience that we have access to in this generation, I wonder, how did we arrive at this point in the first place? Thank you for your time and make it a wonderful day. For more thoughts on celebrating life, I invite you to join the Celebrating Life community.